Hello and welcome to the weekly Charlton Athletic Community Trust online quiz. How was your week? Did you have a good one? I can't believe we are on week 6 now. Hope you get a better score than last week. But this is being streamed live, so please bear with us if there are any technical problems. First, I think I should explain why we're doing this. We want to provide an opportunity for people to get together virtually or in their households for some fun and a distraction from what's going on in the world at the moment. Secondly, we're raising funds for CAC's work supporting vulnerable people during the current crisis. CAC is working with the Royal Borough of Greenwich to run the community hub there. Staff are taking hundreds of calls a day on the call centre, organising shopping and deliveries of food parcels, collecting prescriptions and referring people to other local services. CAC has also set up a friendship line, offering regular calls to those who are self-isolating. Its Extra Time weekly group for older people is now running its choir and holding weekly tea groups online to reduce loneliness. Other CACT programs have also been adapted to continue providing support. Mentoring is now online and over the phone. A team in Thanet is helping with food deliveries, and CACT football coaches are running daily football skill challenges with support from the first team. Now, this quiz is free to take part in, but anything you can donate will help support CAC's work in the community now and in the future. And you can donate online at cact.org.uk/donate. Okay, how will the quiz work? If you don't know by now, it won't be all night long, but we do have 5 rounds with 10 questions each. At the end of each round, I'll give you a short amount of time to go through the questions, and then I'll read out the answers for you to mark. Please send us any comments or requests for shout outs to read between the rounds in the comments box. Anything you can want to say about yourselves, who you're pitting your wits against, who you're doing it with, maybe even ask me a football question or a Charlton question as well. So anything at all in the comments box. You can submit your team name and score in the comments box as well to fundraising@cact.org.uk, and we'll publish a leaderboard soon after the end. Now, the rounds: general knowledge, film and TV, history, geography, and sport, which includes a few Charlton questions. Now, we've said this week on week. I don't know if you have been cheating. We can't know if you are cheating going on Google, the internet, or whatever. But if you can try and answer these questions without cheating, then give it a go. If you have to cheat a little bit, okay, but do it quickly. I won't give you too much time. Okay, the general knowledge round. Are you smarter than a 10-year-old? First question. No pressure here. What is a palindrome? What is a palindrome? Question 2. In maths, what does BODMAS mean? What does it stand for? And I think I better spell it out for you because each letter represents a word. BODMAS. What does BODMAS stand for in maths? BODMAS. I'll give you a bit of time for that one. How are you getting on? A little bit longer? You get all 6 of these, I'll tell you what, you will be dancing on the ceiling. Okay, which part of the body joins the mouth to the stomach? Question 3, which part of the body joins the mouth to the stomach? Question 4, in the English language, what is the grammatical term for comparing one thing to another? So in the English language, what is the grammatical term for comparing one thing to another? Question 5. In which country will you find Taipei City? In which country will you find Taipei City? And that's spelled Taipei, City. It's a truly difficult one, that one. A maths one here. No pressure, remember, about a 10-year-old. Do you know more? So a maths question here. I'll read it slowly. I was 3 when my sister was born, and my mum was 8 times as old as I was. When my mum is 50, how old will my sister be? So I was 3 when my sister was born. My mum was 8 times as old as I was. When my mum is 50, how old will my sister be? Okay, question 7. What are the 3 secondary colours? Not primary. What are the 3 secondary colours? Ankara is the capital of which country? Ankara is the capital of which country? Question 9. Which 2 Roman emperors attempted to invade Britain? So which 2 Roman emperors attempted to invade Britain? If you're not sure, have a guess. That would be my best advice and a semi-clue. They're pretty well-known emperors. Question 10, last one in this round. What is the Latin word for spear? What is the Latin word for spear? You don't want it to go through your heart, tender heart, there, that would be. Okay, look, I'll give you a fact about CAC's Community Hub. The call centre has taken over 43,000 calls in just 41 days, providing a lifeline for people in Greenwich. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's go through some of your comments. Kieran Keogh. Hi, Scott. Hope you're doing well, mate. I am indeed, Kieran. Let us know if you do actually want to ask me a question, but I'm good. How are you? Doing okay? Had a good week? Let me know. Brian Cole. Evening, Scott, and everyone at CACT. Good evening, Brian. Hope you're well. Hope you've been looking forward to the quiz all day. Swatting up. Bogdi, how are you? Good evening, Scott. How are you? You okay? Kevin Smith says hi. Bogdi, yesterday, former Charlton Athletic player Ralph Milne should have been 60. Also this month, we're celebrating Eddie Alds, who made 50 on the 3rd of May. Brilliant. Actually, I think what I forgot to do here is just go over the general knowledge round again. So I'll do it quickly. Question 1. Remember, theme here, are you smarter than a 10-year-old? Question 1, what is a palindrome? Question 2, in maths, what does BODMAS stand for? What does BODMAS stand for? Question 3, which part of the body joins the mouth to the stomach? Question 4, in the English language, what is the grammatical term for comparing one thing to another? In which country would you find Taipei City? Still don't know if I'm saying that right. In which country would you find Taipei City? Maths 1, I was 3 when my sister was born. My mum was 8 times older than me. When my mum is 50, how old will my sister be? Question 7, what are the 3 secondary colours? Question 8, Ankara, the capital of which country? Question 9, which 2 Roman emperors attempted to invade Britain? And question 10, what is the Latin word for spear? Let's go through the answers, shall we? Okay, question 1. What is a palindrome? A word or phrase spelt the same forwards as it is backwards. Question 2. What does BODMAS stand for? Brackets, orders, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Difficult one, that one. I think I probably would have got the last 4, not the first 2. Which part of the body joins the mouth to the stomach? Esophagus. Question 4. In the English language, what is the grammatical term for comparing one thing to another? A simile. Question 5. In which country would you find Taipei City? Taiwan. Question 6. I was 3 when my sister was born, and my mum was 8 times as old as I was. When my mum is 50, how old will my sister be? Well, 8 times 3 is 24. Take away from 50, 26. What are the 3 secondary colours? Orange, purple, and green. Ankara is the capital city of Turkey. Julius Caesar and Claudius were the 2 Roman emperors attempting to invade Britain. And finally, the Latin word for spear, pilum, or pilum. How did he get on? Let me know. Lucy Bailey. Hi, Scott. The Baileys are playing again tonight. It's my birthday this Sunday. Any chance of a birthday shout out? Loving the quiz again. Lucy, thank you very much indeed. Hope you are well. Hello to the Bailey family, but especially to you. Happy birthday on Sunday. Hope you have a fantastic day. And I've got to do this one as well here. Celine Dodd, it says here. But hi, Scott. It's Lauren, Keith's daughter. Lauren, Keith Peacock, of course. How are you? What is it? I'm definitely not smarter than a 10-year-old. I'm sure you are. I had a good chat with your dad today. We were putting the world to rights, or maybe not. But let's see how you get on. Let us know how you and if Keith can text me, which I told him to, because he's no IT expert. Perhaps he can get involved as well. Okay, round 2, the film and TV round. Question 1. In Star Trek, what colour was Mr. Spock's blood? So in Star Trek, what colour was Mr. Spock's blood? Question 2, what was being built in the yards in Howard Way? So what was being built in the yards in Howard's Way? Remember that? What was that, the 80s? Question 3, which religious programme did Harry Seacombe start to present? So which religious programme did Harry Seacombe start to present? Question 4. What is the name of the character played by Sean Bean in the Game of Thrones? What is the name of the character played by Sean Bean in the Game of Thrones? Question 5. Which actress played Kath Hardacre, a nurse who posed as her doctor friend Ali Sutton in the 2017 BBC drama Trust Me? I've absolutely no idea on this one. Which actress played Kath Hardacre, a nurse who posed as her doctor friend Ali Sutton in the 2017 BBC drama Trust Me? Tough one, that one. Just go. The Disney film The Lion King loosely follows the plot of which Shakespeare play? So the Disney film The Lion King loosely follows the plot of which Shakespeare play? Question 7. In what year did George Lucas sell the rights to Star Wars to Disney? So in what year did George Lucas sell the rights to Star Wars to Disney? Can I give you a clue? Wasn't that long ago. It was this century. Question 8. Which musician played the lead in the 1988 film Buster? Now, even I know that one. Which musician played the lead in the 1988 film Buster? Question 9. Who played Long John Silver in Muppet's Treasure Island? So who played Long John Silver in Muppet's Treasure Island? And finally, in this round, which comedian is known as the Big Yin? Which comedian is known as the Big Yin? Say you, say me. That's tough, 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 tough. Okay, look, Philip Honeysett was worried about his 90-year-old aunt in Eltham and said, "Cact came to her rescue. My aunt is extremely happy with the quality of the food delivered and the service provided by the volunteers who deliver it." So congratulations to Cact. And Philip, that's great that your 90-year-old aunt in Eltham was able to get some quality food. Fantastic. Okay, let's, what's there in the comments board? Martin. Well done, everyone at Cact. Scott, where did you live when you played for us? Good question. I lived in Biggin Hill. Not a million miles from where I live now. I live in Chelsfield now. Went to school in Biggin Hill, primary school in Cudham, secondary school in Biggin Hill. And actually, I lived in Biggin Hill the whole time I was at Charlton, even the first year of Chelsea as well. Have to say, it was just amazing how much when you actually have a car. When I was an apprentice, I had to get two buses into to training, both so unreliable. You had to aim for the one before, so it was literally an hour and a half to 2 hours before I needed to be in. I left home. As soon as I drove a car from Biggin Hill to Sparrows Lane, 20-25 minutes. Unbelievable, but great memories, fantastic memories. Bogdy, listen, you're giving everything away by putting it on the public one here. Just let me know at the end of each one, which you have actually 7 out of 10 so far, so well done. He is doing a really good job at Charlton Athletic. Who's doing a really good job? I take it you're talking about Lee Bowyer, but there could be some players. It could be Johnny Jackson, could be anyone. One more here. What is your top 3 end of season EFL moments of all time? Wow, crazy gymnastics. Good to see you're back on. I'll have to have a think about that one. I've only been in back on the EFL for, well, it's my 5th season, but I'll have to think about that one. Let's go through the answers here. Film and TV answers. Question 1, in Star Trek, what colour was Mr. Spock's blood? Green. Question 2, what was being built in the yards in Howard's Way? Boats. Question 3, which religious programme did Harry Seacombe start to present? Highway. Question 4, what is the name of the character played by Sean Bean in the Game of Thrones? Eddard Ned Stark. So I'll give you either of those. Which actress played Kath Hardacre, a nurse who posed as her doctor friend Ali Sutton in the 2017 BBC drama Trust Me? Jodie Whittaker. Question 6, the Disney film The Lion King loosely follows the plot of which Shakespeare play? Hamlet. In what year did George Lucas sell the rights to Star Wars to Disney? It was this century. In fact, it was 2012. Question 8, even I got this one. Which musician played the lead in the 1988 film Buster? It was, of course, Phil Collins. Question 9, who played Long John Silver in Muppet Treasure Island? Tim Curry. And question 10, which comedian is known as the Big Yin? And that is Billy Connolly. Okay, let's move on to history round. Theme this week, inventors and inventions. Question 1, what mode of transport, by the way, Lauren, how did you get on in that? And Keith, have you sent me a text yet? No, you haven't as yet. Let me know how you're getting on. Question 1, what mode of transport was invented in 1955 by Christopher Cockerell? So what mode of transport was invented in 1955 by Christopher Cockerell? Question 2, who is associated with innovations of the assembly line mode of productions for cars that still bear his name? So who is associated with innovations of the assembly line mode of production for cars that still bear his name? Question 3, in what year did the Wright brothers first successfully fly their aircraft? So in what year did the Wright brothers first successfully fly their aircraft? A tough one. That I'll give you 2 years either side. Can't say decade. 2 years either side. What are the first names of the Wright brothers? Question 4. What are the first names of the Wright brothers? Salah. No, not really. Only joking. Question 5. Who is credited as the inventor of the electric battery? So who is credited as the inventor of the electric battery? Not easy, these ones. Have a guess even if you're not sure. Or if you're not sure. In which country has the first evidence of the use of controlled fire been found from over 1.9 million years ago? So in which country has the first evidence of the use of controlled fire been found from over 1.9 million years ago? I'll give you a clue on that one. It is in the continent of Africa. Question 7. Which German revolutionized, I can't even say that properly, revolutionized the printing press in the 15th century? So which German revolutionized the printing press in the 15th century? Yeah, still here, the teeth. Question 8. Who discovered penicillin? Who discovered penicillin? Question 9. In what decade? So decade was the X-ray discovered by Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen? In what decade was the X-ray discovered by Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen? He won't be happy with my pronunciation of his surname, but I don't think he's going to care too much right now. Question 10. Who was famously present when Alexander Graham Bell demonstrated the first long-distance phone call? Who was famously present when Alexander Graham Bell demonstrated the first long-distance phone call? A few clue there. A monarch. Okay, a community hub quote. Christine Winks. You've been wonderful, all of you. Guardian angels at the end of the line. I can't thank you people enough. Christine, I'm sure you speak on behalf of many people as well. So great words, short, succinct, to the point. And I think you pretty much sum up everything. So well done, everybody at CACT. Okay, let's go. Let's see who else. Oh, yes. Crazy Gymnastics. Top 3 end of season moments. I have to say, the biggest ones for me are the biggest games. So I love doing anything in the league that are real big games. Love doing Leeds United. You know, at the moment this season, Fulham, West Brom, goes without saying, Charlton, of course, but the playoffs are the special ones. And also, you know, it is the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup, because you're doing Premier League teams there as well. So I'd have to say the finals. I wouldn't necessarily say anything in each order, but I do remember one playoff semi-final I did with Ian Holloway, and I think you can find it still on YouTube. I don't know if I can't watch myself, so I haven't seen it myself, but it's the only time I've completely lost it on TV. I mean, completely lost it. He was talking about, it was Adebayo Akinfenwa, about how he'd eaten his twin. He looked so big. And just the way he said it and the joke itself, I could not stop laughing. And literally, it must have been for a minute. And if you count for 60 seconds, that's a long time. I could not talk. I tried to once. It was a very high-pitched voice that came out. So I just said, just stop and don't do anything until you stop talking. But that was one of my funniest moments on TV, if not my funniest. Ollie, great guy. but anything to do that are real crucial games, playoff semi-finals and finals themselves. Absolutely fantastic. Love them. Okay, let's go through the history answer, shall we? What mode of transport was invented in 1955 by Christopher Cockerell? It was the hovercraft. Question 2, who is associated with innovations of the assembly line mode of production for cars that still bear his name? Henry Ford. The only one, or the one and only. In what year did the Wright brothers first successfully fly their aircraft? Now, I gave you a couple of years either side here, didn't I? The answer is 1903. So anything from 1901 to 1905, I'll give you. Question 4, what are the first names of the Wright brothers? Orville and Wilbur. Orville and Wilbur. I had a duck one time called Orville. Anyway, question 5, who is credited as the inventor of the electric battery? It was Alessandro Volta. Alessandro Volta. Obviously, you don't have to have the first name, but the second name, pretty important. Question 6, in which country has the first evidence of the use of controlled fire been found from over 1.9 million years ago? I gave you a clue of a country in Africa, and it was Kenya. Question 7, which German revolutionized the printing press in the 15th century? It was Johannes Gutenberg. Over my head. Question 8, who discovered penicillin? Alexander Fleming. Tough one this, which is why we said decade. In what decade was the X-ray discovered by Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen? It was the 1890s. And in fact, it gives you a bonus point if you get the year itself, 1895. And question 10, who was famously present when Alexander Graham Bell demonstrated the first long-distance phone call, and it was Queen Victoria. Pretty famous monarch, I think it's fair to say. Okay, question 1 of the geography round now. Which river runs through Vienna, Bratislava, and Budapest? So which river runs through Vienna, Bratislava, and Budapest? I'll have a cheeky glass of wine. Question 2, which country with a border on the Mediterranean is the largest by area, that is, in Africa? So which country with a border on the Mediterranean is the largest in Africa? And we're talking about area. Question 3, the River Thames does not flow through which of these towns? Newbury, Reading, Marlow, or Maidenhead? So the River Thames does not flow through which of these towns? Newbury, Reading, Marlow, or Maidenhead? Jace, this is just for you. See if you can get this one. Which London street connects Tottenham Court Road and Marble Arch underground stations? So which London street connects Tottenham Court Road and Marble Arch underground stations? Question 5, in which US states are Carson City, Reno, and Las Vegas? In which US states are Carson City, Reno, and Las Vegas? Question 6, whose statue is on top of the tallest column in Trafalgar Square? So whose statue is on top of the tallest column in Trafalgar Square? We should know that one. True or false? 50-50. The population of London in 2018 was more than 10 million people. So true or false? The population of London in 2018 was more than 10 million people. Question 8. Is the distance as the crow flies between Land's End to John O'Groats 303, 403, 503, or 603 miles? So as the crow flies, the distance between Land's End to John O'Groats 303, 403, 503, or 603 miles. Question 9. What is the name of the Australian island state 150 miles south of the mainland? So the name of the Australian island state 150 miles south of the mainland. Question 10. In which country is the source of the Amazon River? It's a clue if it's needed. It is not Brazil. Okay. Question 10. I'm stuck on you. I wasn't sure this one. In which country is the source of the Amazon River? And it's not Brazil. Okay, let's have another Community Hub fact. One of the vital things the Community Hub does is collect prescriptions for people who are unable to go to the pharmacy themselves at the moment. The Hub has collected 922 prescriptions so far for people in Greenwich in the last 41 days. Amazing achievement. 922 prescriptions in the last 41 days in Greenwich. Okay, I'll give you a bit more time for your answers. Let's go on. Bogdy, you're just giving me answers. You're giving it away. Don't do that. Keep it to the end and then tell me how many you get after 10. Lauren, how are you getting on? Oh, I think you are asking me something here. Let's go first to Neil. Evening, Scott. Apart from a return to Charlton, were there any clubs that you could have signed for that didn't happen? Would you have liked to have played in any other countries? I would love to have played in Spain. And actually, when I was at Benfica, I left Chelsea for Benfica. You're never quite sure how it's going to go. Going abroad, I was told I was the first Englishman I hadn't checked it out, the first Englishman to play for Benfica, and there was no other English people there at the time. Graham Souness came halfway through my first season and brought some Brits, which was great, but first going, you're never quite sure how it's going to go, and I have to say the lads were absolutely fantastic. We went to Holland, we went to Brazil in pre-season. Pre-season went really well. First 3 games of the season went really well, and then my brother got married actually here in England, and I asked Benfica if I could come over, not just for the international weekend but the week leading up to it. No games, so can I train with Chelsea? There I was told by someone at Chelsea that Valencia were interested and they were going to come in for me, and it was one of those where Valencia is such a big club in a fantastic league. I've always thought Barcelona and Real Madrid the sexiest teams on the planet. The very next game I had a knee injury and was out for 4 months and then didn't hear a thing. But there was a part of me that was quite thankful because, as I say, when you go abroad, you're never quite sure how it's going to happen. The fact it went so well, you almost feel like, well, I don't want to leave that now. I would have gone because I think I'm always someone who, if something feels right and you think you should do it, I will do it. I won't be scared by doing something. But there was a part of me that was quite happy that it didn't happen in the end because you're never quite sure how that would have gone. I would have loved to have played in Spain. Would have loved to have played for Valencia at some point. And also, just before I left for Benfica, I had Kenny Dalglish on the phone. He was manager of Newcastle, and had said to me, "Look, I heard you're signing for Benfica, but would you think about coming to Newcastle?" Now, I was a Liverpool fan as a kid, being born on the Wirral, and just said to him, "Look, Kenny, this is a fantastic achievement. A fantastic opportunity, should I say. I don't think I'll ever get this opportunity again to play abroad. I've always loved that kind of lifestyle as well. And this is Benfica, one of the biggest clubs in Europe. I've got to give it a go. But thank you very much. By the way, you're my favourite player. Posters of you on the wall." He said, "Oh, I'm not that old," and that kind of, jokingly. But you know, Newcastle clearly a class club with a fantastic support. That would have been interesting. But I don't regret any decision that I made at the time. After West Ham, would have been great to have come back to Charlton. And Curbs did say to me that he wasn't sure what Paoli was doing, but Paoli stayed another year. So in the end, it didn't happen. But no, I really, really enjoyed my time, my whole career, to be honest with you, which is fantastic. Okay, look, let's go through the answers here. Which river runs through Vienna, Bratislava, and Budapest? It's the River Danube. I hope I've pronounced that right. Question 2, which country with the border on the Mediterranean is the largest in Africa? We're talking by area here. Algeria. The River Thames does not flow through which of these towns? Newbury, Reading, Marlow, Maidenhead. The answer is Newbury. Question 4, which London street connects Tottenham Court Road and Marble Arch Underground stations? Oxford Street. Question 5, in which US state are Carson City, Reno, and Las Vegas? Las Vegas, bit of a giveaway, Nevada. Question 6, whose statue is on top of the tallest column in Trafalgar Square? It is, of course, Lord Nelson. Not Keith Peacock. Question 7, true or false, the population of London in 2018 was more than 10 million people. False, it was 8.9 million. Now, Lauren, is that you under the name of Celine? Great quiz, Scott. I'm not doing too well, but enjoying it. Oh, more true or false questions. I may be able to get a point. Did you get a point on that one? Question 8, is the distance as the crow flies between Land's End to John O'Groats 303, 403, 503, or 603 miles? It is, of course, 603. Question 9, what is the name of the Australian island state 150 miles south of the mainland? It is Tasmania. And question 10, in which country is the source of the Amazon River? In which country is the source of the Amazon River? It's not Brazil. It is Peru. I did not know that. I would have said Colombia. Bogdan, you're doing well. Well done, mate. Brian, please say hi to all the upbeats. Definitely. Especially to my pals, Billy Birchmore and the Crossbar Challenge King, Jonathan West. Jonathan, are you? Crossbar Challenge King, love that one. Billy, hope you're well. And the upbeats generally, hope you're all well and enjoying this quiz. What else is there? Bogdan, you're doing well. Liam Milton, who would you say has been the best Charlton player this season? Tough one. I mean, I've not been able to go to every single game. I've gone as a fan a couple of times, as a working for Skies a couple of times as well. But I think Lyle obviously is the most important player. You get him fit, and Charlton stay up. And let's face it, if he hadn't been injured for so long, I think Charlton would be mid-table. Connor was obviously very, very good. I think it's really difficult to say because a lot of the players who have played so well have been injured. It's great to see some of the youngsters coming in. But, you know, at times like this, and hopefully the football will get back soon, you kind of need experience in this. So we'll see what the kind of team that Bo can put out. But I think there's been lots of players who have had a really good season. The start, obviously, fantastic. And I think there's been a lot of kids who have learned a heck of a lot, been thrown in the deep end, and they've definitely swum and not sank. So, yeah, difficult to mention names, but there's no doubt about it. Lyle is the most important. Get him on the pitch and he scores goals, and that's the most important thing. Okay, before we start the final round, a quick reminder that while we hope you've enjoyed the quiz tonight and it's brought you a little light relief, we're also doing it to raise funds for Charlton Athletic Community Trust. If you have enjoyed the quiz, please consider making a donation. Normally, CAC's quiz nights are £10 per ticket, so perhaps £10 per screen or team, or just anything you can donate. All donations will help fund CAC's response to the coronavirus crisis, supporting young people through this difficult time and providing emergency support in the community for the vulnerable and elderly who are self-isolating. Donate online at cact.org.uk/donate. Okay, sport round, final round. There are 2 non-UK based teams who compete in the Rugby League Super League. Name either of the countries they come from. So there are 2 non-UK based teams who compete in the Rugby League Super League. Name either of the countries they come from. Question 2. In which city were the 1968 Olympic Games held? So in which city were the 1968 Olympic Games held? Question 3. In League One football last year, how many goals did Charlton score? Tester for this one. 73, 78 or 83? How many league goals did Charlton score last season? 73, 78 or 83? Question 4. How many golf majors has Tiger Woods won? How many golf majors has Tiger Woods won? I wonder if he thinks still it's my destiny to beat Jack Nicklaus for the majors. Question 5. Riverside Ground is the home venue of which county cricket team? So Riverside Ground is the home venue of which county cricket team? Question 6. Who did Darren Bent score against for Charlton in the 2005-06 FA Cup 3rd round? So who did Darren Bent score against for Charlton in the 2005-06 FA Cup 3rd round? It's funny, they're talking about, 25 years ago to the day since Blackburn won the Premier League. I do remember, it would have been 94, wouldn't it? When we went to, so that would that have been the season they won? That wouldn't have been the season, maybe the season before. But certainly they were right up there at a time where we drew against them in the FA Cup. I think that might have been 3rd round or 4th round. And 0-0 at the Valley, and somehow got a win. Pitch, may he rest in peace. Got the winner. Fantastic achievement, that. Fantastic game, fantastic memories. Question 7. The longest tennis match in history between John Isner and Nicholas Mahut occurred at Wimbledon in which year? The longest tennis match in history between John Isner and Nicholas Mahut occurred at Wimbledon in which year? Question 8. What sporting event in 1985 holds the record for post-midnight viewing figures on British television with 18.5 million people watching the climax in the early hours in the morning? And I was one of those 18.5 million people. So I would have been, 14 at the time. What sporting event in 1985 holds the record for post-midnight viewing figures on British television with 18.5 million people watching the climax in the early hours of the morning? What sport? Question 9. Which of the following clubs did Christian Daly go to after leaving Charlton? Derby County, Rangers or Portsmouth? Former teammate of mine at West Ham. Really good lad, Chris. Really good guy. Very versatile on the pitch, but just a lovely guy off it. Question 9. Which of the following clubs did Christian Daly go to after leaving Charlton? Derby, Rangers or Portsmouth? And the final question of the night, running with the night. Who did Muhammad Ali fight in the Thriller in Manila? Who did Muhammad Ali fight in the Thriller in Manila? Okay, look, we're going to give you a bit of time to go through those. Thank you to the correct question writers again: John Allen, Steve Clark, Stuart Court, Anthony Crowther, Richard Crowther, and Graham Taylor as well. Guys, thank you so much indeed. Great questions. Really good. Let's go through some more. Bogdy, you're doing well. Yeah, Matthew, you're right. Bogdy, just write it down on a piece of paper and then mark them. You're spoiling it. Although, Matthew, you could always just not look at the public bit. But no, you're right. Bogdy, just write it down and tell me at the end how many you got out of 10. Brian Cole, stop giving answers, please, Bogdy. Bogdy, thanks, Scott. I support Cheltenham Athletic fans from Romania. Brilliant. That's fantastic. And look, absolutely fantastic, Bogdy. Well done. Really pleased. You know a heck of a lot about Charlton. Just don't give the answers away. Crazy Gymnastics. If you could take 3 pundits on holiday, who would it be? And this can be from any season that you've worked with on Sky. Oh, it's a great question. That's a great question. I'm glad you said 3 instead of 1. That's the, you know what, I'm going to leave people out here, so I'm just going to think of people that I work with the most. Keith Andrews would be one of them. Andy Hinchcliffe, another. And you know what, it's really difficult because I just did a Zoom interview we're talking about Grady Diangana, West Ham player on loan at West Brom. We did it with Lee Hendry, who's a great lad. Danny Higginbottom, great lad. And Ollie, of course, don't work with him anymore, but just so funny. I think he'd be really, really funny. And whenever we're feeling a little bit low, it'd certainly keep our peckers up. So probably those 3. Bogdy, what have you said here? My favourite round 2. Mexico City, Charlton scored 73, and Darren Bent scored against Sheffield Wednesday in the 3rd round. Let's see if you are right. So the sport answers. There are 2 non-UK based teams who compete in the Rugby League Super League. Name either the countries they come from: France and Canada, Catalan Dragons and Toronto Wolfpack. So France and Canada. In which city were the 1968 Olympic Games held? It was Mexico City. Question 3, how many league goals did Charlton score? 73, 78 or 83? It was A, 73. Question 4, how many golf majors has Tiger Woods won? The answer's 15. He would be dancing on the ceiling if he beats Jack Nicklaus. Question 5, Riverside Ground is the home venue of which county cricket team? Durham. Bogdy, you're right. Who did Darren Bent score against for Charlton in the 2005-06 FA Cup 3rd round? Sheffield Wednesday. Question 7, the longest tennis match in history occurred in which year at Wimbledon? 2010. Question 8, what sporting event in 1985 holds the record for post-midnight viewing figures on British television, with 18.5 million people watching the climax in the early hours of the morning? It was, of course, the World Snooker Championship final between Steve Davis and Dennis Taylor. Question 9. Which of the following clubs did Christian Daly go to after leaving Charlton? Great guy. He went to Portsmouth. And question 10. Who did Muhammad Ali fight in a thriller in Manila? And it was Joe Frazier. So I've just seen a text off Keith. Personal nightmare in round 2. Leslie refuses to help me. Come on, Leslie. Otherwise, literally, he'll be 1 or 2 out of 10. You've got to help him a little bit. Lauren, how did you get on? Well, look, that's it. Any more? No more questions. And well, look, thank you so much to everyone for taking part this evening. Please don't forget to put your team names and scores in the comments below, or email fundraising@cact.org.uk by 8 p.m. tonight, and we'll announce the winners online later. Look, we've loved doing these quizzes with everyone. This is the 6th one. Unfortunately, it's going to be the last one for the time being. So we hope we'll be able to come back with another one soon. In the meantime, please take care and yeah, stay safe out there. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye for now.